Todd Muller.
Mr. Speaker, every now and again an event occurs that is so unexpected that it sears in your memory. And for me, Monday lunchtime and the announcement by the Prime Minister that he was stepping down is one of those moments. And for me, I was initially very shocked and saddened, actually, that I wouldn't have the opportunity to continue being part of his caucus and learn from his extraordinary experience and demonstration of leadership. 10 years at the top is a long time, Mr. Speaker, and reflecting on the judgment that he has given, or the reasons that he's given for his judgment, I can understand and see from his perspective why he has indeed made that call. And at the core of it is integrity, which has been his touchstone for the time that he has been in Parliament, and certainly the time that he has been a leader, where he knew that he couldn't stand in front of the New Zealand public and say that I could commit to a fourth term when he knew that he couldn't. And so because of that, he has stepped aside, and of course we're going through that process of replacing him. But the ability to step aside at the height of your power, to me, Mr. Speaker, only reinforces his uniqueness. And certainly in history, be it in corporate and other areas, it's very easy for people to stay too long. They can see themselves and their judgments, Mr. Speaker, as indispensable. They have rehearsed the arguments and the strategic intent for so long that they find it almost frustrating and a sense of impatience having to continue to repeat it. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has never, ever been like that. He is a person who has always held the view that he was in a job that he loved, for a country that he loved, working for people that he loved. Another observation on his incredible value to this country was the ability to check and adjust as needed. So often in the past, politicians and leaders box themselves into a corner over a particular policy or direction. And see that any movement or any direction or any change in direction is somehow weakness. But he knew that the real strength of character and leadership is the ability to check and adjust as necessary, and he did that, in my view, at a level that has had no peer in this place, and it has been extraordinary to watch. Mr. Speaker, I first met the Prime Minister when he came to an event in Tauranga in 2007. And he filled the QE2 stadium, and he was just the leader of the opposition, the first time that had ever happened. And I have listened to a number of leaders, both political and corporate, and I could tell from the moment he spoke that we were in presence of someone who was materially different. He had a different tone. He was incredibly relaxed. He was very comfortable about who he was and what he stood for and the vision that he had for this country. He took the job seriously, but not himself. And that capacity is something that too few people can apply to themselves in whatever career. But he, Mr. Speaker, has been set the benchmark for that. But above all, the standout, in my opinion, of his ability has been the ability to frame up arguments in a way that spoke to New Zealanders in the language of their lives. And he has done that in a way that, in my opinion, has had no peer, Mr. Speaker. And look how far we have come over the last 8 years. Mr. Speaker, he has talked often about being ambitious for New Zealand. And it is very easy to stand behind that statement, as we do as a party every day, and talk to the various better public service targets that we have driven in this country and the performance that we have achieved against that. But, Mr. Speaker, that is not when the Prime Minister stands and talks about ambition for New Zealand. It is not just the statistics of success that stands echoing his performance. It's what he has done for the attitude and approach of this country. Because when I've been out in my electorate in the Bay of Plenty in the city of Tauranga, I believe his greatest legacy, and one that will go through the years, is his focus on embracing New Zealand with the world, a sense of optimism, of connecting ourselves with the future, and an unrelenting belief in the potential of New Zealanders. And little by little, over the last 8 years, New Zealanders have caught that wave of self-belief. And it has been an absolute privilege to watch that happen in this country and be part of it in Tauranga, and it has been a huge privilege to be with him in the last couple of years, seeing his leadership in action. Mr. Speaker, he has been a tremendous leader for this country, and he will leave, of course, a great hole, but we have an incredible contest underway, and I have great confidence that whoever we choose on Monday will take this country forward in a way that amplifies his legacy and will return this government back to the Treasury benches in 2017. Thank you very much.